Morning. Hello. Hi. Come in. Take a seat. Shut the door, please. Yeah, thank you.
It's a bit cold in here.
Oh, well, hopefully it will warm up. I've turned the air conditioning off, so hopefully it will warm up and we start getting down to it. Right. Well, thank you for coming in so early. I know it's on Tuesday morning, so thank you for coming in for your session today. How are we all today? Pardon? They are, yes. Yes, please help yourself to refreshments. How are we all today?
Good, thank you.
Yes, good.
Dreary morning.
Yeah, it's a bit miserable today.
It is a bit miserable. I'm a bit behind, so hopefully this won't take long today.
No, it will be about half an hour. So if you can just have half an hour of your time to concentrate on this, kind of free your mind of stuff that's happening upstairs. Management team know that you're here. So if we just kind of relax into it. So today you're on the learning session on how to deliver a good company induction to a new starter. So as a HR department, we're aiming to streamline our induction process and make it so every new employee receives the same induction experience and gets a good welcome to live fitness, and that they don't miss any good information they get it all from day one. The reason why you're here today is because as people managers, you need to know what's important and you need to know your role in the induction process. So today I'll be going through what information we give to a new starter as HR, and then we'll kind of talk about what you need to do from your role as a people managers. Okay. I've got some name badges for you. I know that we do know each other, but there you go. So before we start, there's a bit of housekeeping to go through. So the session will last around 30 minutes. Please do turn your mobile phone to silent. I know that it's kind of easy to look at your phone during sessions, but if I could have your attention for half an hour, that would be great. Try not to respond to any emails during the session as well. No question or answer is a silly question or answer, so if something pops into your head, please do say it, ask questions, talk amongst yourselves, discuss, etc. But also do please respect all attendees in the room. Refresh yourself as needed. It is only a short session, however we have got water on the table, so if you need to refresh yourself, please do. There is no fire alarm scheduled for today, there's no fire alarm training. However, so if the alarm does go off, we're going to assume it's a real one. The fire exit's down this corridor that you came down, straight to the back gym, and there's a fire exit in the back corner, and then the meeting point is in the car park that you walk through today. And if you do need to go for the toilet, we are adults, you don't need to ask permission. Toilets are just down the corridor and to the right hand side. Any questions before we start?
No, it's all good, thank you.
Excellent. So the aim and objectives of this session is to understand how to deliver a company induction to a new starter. By the end of this session, you will know we're going to identify what induction is and why it's important. We're going to discuss what makes a good and a bad induction. We're going to recognise the information that HR provides, identify the important health and safety points we have to go through by law, and then we're going to define what's expected from you as people manager. Also throughout the session, if you want to take notes on things that you'll be doing going forward and kind of take from this session, when you have a new team member, and then I'll kind of we can share them at the end to kind of assist your learning going forwards. So, as with all training sessions, we're going to do a quick icebreaker session. So I'd like to know what your name is, what your job title is, what's a fun fact about you, but also can you give me an example of when you've experienced a good or bad company induction and why? I'll go first. So I'm Tori, I'm a HR coordinator here at Life Fitness, and I've been here for just over a year. A fun fact about me is I can touch my nose with my tongue. I'm not going to demonstrate, you just got to take my word for it. An example of bad induction for me was in my previous role. My line manager my new manager had booked a meeting for 10 o'clock, and he said it'll only last about half an hour, so here's a company intranet, just have a look through that. His meeting then lasted all day, so I spent the first day of my new company just looking through the company intranet for the whole day, which wasn't the greatest start to my career there. Hence why I left that and came here. So Laura, do you want to?
Yes, so hello everybody.
Hello.
My name is Laura. I am the customer service manager here at Life Fitness. I've been here for just over 10 years now. So a life sentence basically. A fun fact about me, you won't know this, but I actually really like to go wild camping.
Oh, that's interesting.
Probably not so much now that the weather's changed, but in the summer I got really into it.
Oh.
And a good or a bad induction? I won't say where it is, was even, but similar to your experience, not feeling like the manager was prepared for me on the first day or gave me the time that I kind of needed to feel welcome in that team, and feeling a bit like a spare part on my first day.
And how long did you then last at that company?
About 10 years.
Oh, okay. Okay, fine. So you kind of got over the
I got
bad
over
induction.
it, but yeah, it's not.
It wasn't
It's
the
very
best
off-putting on your
welcome.
first day, isn't
Okay,
it?
excellent. And Simone?
I'm Simone,
Hello.
I'm the order fulfillment manager here
Mhm.
at My Fitness. I've been here for 18 years,
Yeah.
so I can't really remember my induction here, which is perhaps not a good thing. Fun fact about me, I once got to meet Ronan Keating, who is my idol.
Amazing.
Um,
Did you say life is roller coaster and all?
he did.
Was that, yes,
Yes.
excellent.
So that was, yeah, a good fun fact about me. It's me
Excellent.
and Ronan are on first name terms.
Yeah.
In terms of induction, the company I worked to prior to here was a big company, and at the time I joined, they were doing a lot of recruitment, so it was very, very well organised.
Yeah.
And you came in, you had a company handbook given to you.
Yeah.
You was with lots of other new starters, and the whole week was structured around
Okay.
induction. You literally didn't sit in your department
Yeah.
for the first week. You was literally guided through the company and
Like going on
and various elements
Yeah.
of it. But to be fair, let's say the recruitment was very heavy, so they had
Yeah.
a lot of people and was able
do
to
it.
sort of invest that time to do that.
Well, that's good. So kind of from both your experiences, yours good, yours bad, maybe we can kind of focus a bit kind of, and you can have thoughts about what, you know, a good induction is and a bad induction is, and kind of what you would change to make a good induction, and you know how you kind of you bring a good induction into this company.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. Also, thank you for filling in the pre-training questionnaire that I sent you just before this session. Gave me indication of your learning styles. So when I know that you said that you're more of a visual learner, and you kind of learn by watching, so we've got video in here to watch as well. And I know that you're a bit of a kinesthetic learner, you learn by doing. So as you can see, we've got the buzzers, we've got a quiz coming up later, so test your learning that way. But I hope there'll be a good balance in this session. So we're going to start with a quick knowledge check and expectations. So on a scale of 1 to 5, how much do you know about what a company induction looks like here? Kind of the red is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where kind of would you put yourself?
Well, despite being here for 18 years,
Yeah.
I'd say I was probably on the second one, the
Okay.
orange one.
Okay.
I haven't actually had any new recruits in the team
Okay.
for a while until sort of last week.
Okay.
So it's not very fresh with me,
Yeah,
and with
okay, so
changing personnel, I'm not sure how it kind of works at the moment.
Excellent. Cool. And yourself?
I'd probably stretch to a 1 or a 2.
Yeah, that's same. Okay. So hopefully by the end of today you'll kind of know a bit more about how the induction process runs here. What are your expectations? Is there anything specific that you want to get out of today? Laura, should we say?
I would like more detail on the what you go through and what kind of we go through on that first day.
Fabulous. Yeah, we can do that.
For me, it's probably the paperwork.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
That comes around a bit and what you cover off. And
Yeah.
for example, my new gave me some stuff the other day, and I didn't really know what I was checking or what they needed, or
Okay.
so
Fabulous.
to just understand that.
Fabulous. We can do that. Okay. Well, should we begin? What is induction? Does anyone know what induction? The kind of definition of induction, or kind of what it's for?
Introducing someone to the company.
Yeah.
Making them feel welcome.
Yeah, excellent. So the CIPD defines it as induction is a process through which employees adjust or acclimatise to their new jobs and working environment. So a wordy version of what you guys just said. Induction isn't just day one. It's not day one. It's not 1 week. Induction is ongoing. It can last 3-6 months in some companies, depending on kind of the size of it and kind of the scope of responsibilities. Induction of a specific employee is the line manager, so your guys' overall responsibility, but the HR department designs and develops the induction process, hence why we're here today. We're generally the point of contact from day one as we kind of, you know, we're in touch with the new recruit from the start. We do their paperwork, etc. But this session will cover the initial stages that HR take care of, and then what you guys will cover as well. Okay, now we're going to have a little bit of discussion. Why is a good induction important? I know that you mentioned a couple. I'm going to write on the whiteboard for this, but why do you think a good induction is important?
To help them settle in?
Yeah.
I'm thinking so integrating with their team, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So they can understand a bit more about the organisation that they're working for,
Yeah.
who we are and
Like the
where they fit
culture.
in. Yeah.
Yeah. So the culture as well.
Yeah, learn about the company culture.
Fabulous. Any others?
And so that they sort of build an understanding of the other teams around them as
Yeah,
well as their own team. They don't just
absolutely.
feel like they're working in a small team, but they're part of something bigger.
Yeah.
The boring paperwork.
Board paperwork, yes, absolutely, yeah. It's very important. Luckily that's only on day one, so we haven't kind of got to continue with that throughout. Anything else?
I guess like the loss of time and money to the business.
Exactly.
If we
From
don't
a,
have a good induction.
absolutely, from a business point of view, it's very expensive.
To give a good first impression as well, like if you come onto a new company, like you've described, Tori, you're sitting there reading a manual or reading the intranet for the first day. You wonder how much people are actually investing in you.
Absolutely.
And you might not come back on day two.
No, because it doesn't give you the best kind of warm, fuzzy feeling that you'd like to get on a day one. It also creates a safe work environment. You know, not so much in here, but you know, our technicians on the road, for example, they need to be able to be trained safely. So all that is an induction as well. It also creates a high productivity, because if people aren't engaged and disinterested in all those things, then they're probably going to be not very productive in their role. Excellent. What makes for a good induction?
Probably the opposite of my experience.
Yeah.
Actually feeling like your manager wants you there, so they've blocked time out to spend with you.
Yes, yeah.
And would kind of
Like
welcome
a meeting
you,
at 10 a.m. Yeah.
greet you as you kind of walk through the door, maybe.
Yeah, absolutely.
But they seem like they're ready for you in terms of like desk and technology.
Yeah.
I can't think of anything worse than we have people start and they have no desk or they have no access to the systems that they need. It's really frustrating. It just looks like you're disorganised.
And they're just kind of, they're a bit forgotten about as well. Absolutely. And making sure kind of everyone in, all the key stakeholders are ready for them and they know that they're coming, etc. Excellent. We're just going to watch a quick 3-minute video about a good and a bad induction, and at the end we'll discuss the differences in this specific video, but they're pretty much what you've talked about, but it's kind of good to see in practice. So you want to take notes, you can do throughout this.
Hopefully not too busy today. Yeah. Gotcha. Hey, how you going?
Yeah, good.
Can I help you?
Oh, it's just my first day today.
Oh, okay. What's your name?
Christian?
Oh, Christian. I'm Daniel. I'm your manager. Are you sure it's today that you're starting? So next week?
Yeah, pretty sure it is. It says so in the forms.
Hey, Georgina.
Hi.
Go ahead.
Good, thank you.
Excited for your first day?
Yeah, can't wait.
Have you had a coffee?
No, not yet.
Let's go.
Alright, sorry about your desk.
I like the music in the
Set up.
background.
Yeah, nice and cozy in here.
Okay, so this will be your office.
Yeah.
Take a seat.
Okay.
So you've got your laptop sorted, and you mentioned you like plants, so you got your little one,
Oh,
isn't
thank you.
it? Separate monitor, phone, all that sort of stuff, and the onboarding is automated online, so it should take you 5 to 10 minutes. So I'll be back in 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll introduce you to the rest of the team.
Brilliant, thanks.
Cool.
Alright, so good forms. Forms for you to fill out. You can fill those out and give them back to I'll come back, alright?
Okay, so this is our performance management system. In there will be all your objectives and measures, development plan, all that sort of stuff. So there's like lots of automated reminders and statuses, and whenever we have a catch up or one-on-one, there'll be notes in there so you can remind yourself, okay, that's what we talked about last week. And we'll do those 5-10 minutes every week.
Yeah, how'd you do with the forms?
Yeah, actually, just still going at it.
Yeah, okay, cool, no worries. I'm just going to head out to lunch, keep filling them out, and I'll come back and I'll check on you later.
Okay.
Alright, cool. Yeah? Yeah, I'm coming down now, Alright, see you soon. We still going to that place?
Hello.
Hi. Oh.
Oh, yeah, good,
Did you-
good.
Oh, that's right.
You
Maple
okay?
room.
No, sorry, the maple room is the one just next door.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
Apologies.
No worries, thank you. Cheers. Oh, sorry about that, guys.
That's okay.
Sorry about that.
I hope you haven't brought lunch because we're going to take you out.
Oh, no, I haven't actually said it. Yeah.
Okay, great. So all the team will go out and get some food.
Oh, brilliant, yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So there you go. What would you kind of what would you take from that? The good, bad, the good points, the bad points.
I liked that the good one, how they'd use technology to make it interactive. I hadn't seen that before.
So all the onboarding is literally
Yeah, not giving
online.
someone like 200 pages that they
Yeah.
need to read and sign.
yeah
So yeah, online looked good.
yeah
And like the friendliness of the good examples.
It makes you think about it a little bit more from their perspective as well. Like
yeah
sometimes as hard as we try to be organised and make things all shiny for them, we don't always succeed, but you don't think about them going home to, or the text messages that
Yeah.
there might be,
yeah
potentially our reputation is at stake if you're doing a bad onboarding, isn't
Yeah.
it? What people are saying about you as a business
yeah
and their first impression.
The first day is pretty terrifying actually.
yeah
isn't
it is yeah. And kind of if we can do as much as possible to make it less terrifying, whether that's preparing them before they get here or just making sure that we are on it from the start. And we're going to make mistakes because we're only human, but if we can kind of, I mean, the good induction of that I thought was very, very good. So yeah, so if we can kind of all align ourselves, so we're all on the same page. It's not like, oh, who's got so and so, who are you with now? I think going forward, I think we'd make a good impression.
And the team lunch.
The team
That's a
lunch,
great
idea. I like
great
that.
idea.
I just thought
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, absolutely. Because otherwise, you're kind of like, do I bring lunch on my first day? What do I do? So yes, that kind of what would be good is after this session, is going away and kind of thinking about how we can, how as a team we can be better, and kind of what we can do going forward as well for a new starter. So excellent. Okay, so now we're going to get on to kind of how we do it from HR point of view, and then we can kind of discuss at the end on how we can make things better going forward. So before they get in, we arrive. So us as HR, but also you as people managers need to be here on time, if not a little bit early. So kind of 8:30. They'll arrive at 9. We set up the room kind of as I am today. So refreshments, pens, paper, etc. Make sure that the desk is all set up upstairs. They've got stationery upstairs. They've got the chair. Their IT is all set up, ready to go. And then we greet them in reception. We also, as HR, do send them an email beforehand that kind of tells them when to arrive, what to wear, who to ask for, what to bring, where to park, because those kind of things are the questions that you want to know before you. It's like, oh, what do I do on my first day? Well, it's like the first day of school again, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then us as HR, I know that Laura, you were interested to know more about the kind of the company and the overview that we give. So we don't go into too much detail about the wider business. I know that we've got a lot of different departments in Life Fitness. We kind of do that more on the structured company induction day that we do for new starters twice a year. But on the kind of day one, we talk about a high level of the company history. So when it was founded, where the offices are based, a bit of a history about our brands, the company values and how they align to our culture. We chat about the company strategy a little bit. We then explain the UK management team and the kind of their functions, their names, where they sit, where they work, who's in the office and when, etc. Then we go into the HR team and talk about when we work and our functions, and then just a brief overview of their department and kind of who they sit with. Is that something that are you satisfied with that, or is there any other questions?
It doesn't really make it clear. So
Okay.
how much of the departmental overview do you cover, and how much do I have to cover?
Okay, so I will literally kind of say that they work in customer service, for example, and Laura's a manager. I might go into kind of the number of the team members, but that's about it. Then it will be then up to you to introduce them to their team mates. Talk about where the customer service team sits in the bigger company, who you report to, who your manager reports to, that kind of line. If there's any additional lines, other departments that they will kind of align to, and that kind of thing. So that's a deep dive into the department is up to you, which you can do later.
Okay.
Is that okay?
That's
Yeah.
clear.
Whose
Fabulous.
responsibility is it to cover off things like health and safety, like where the fire exits?
So that'd be
That's
HR.
yourself.
Yeah. So I'll go through that in just a minute. Yeah. The next one is paperwork, which I know that Simone, you because there's a lot to go through. What kind of paperwork do you think we go through on day one? What do you think is important?
Signing of the contract.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pensions.
Yes, benefits. Yeah.
ID?
Yes, yeah, proof to work. What do you know what the kind of the ID for right to work is in the UK?
Driving licence?
Not a driving license, no, because that doesn't prove where you were, like kind of where you live, where you're born. So it doesn't prove proof of citizenship in the UK. So it's passport, birth certificate, or a visa if they come from abroad. Not a driver's license, which
We don't have to do that.
No. That's me. I scan everything, etc. We also go through personal information, including emergency contacts, to make sure that they're all on the system. We cover company policy, so the home working policy that we've got now, IT policy, disciplinary, grievance, expenses, etc. So kind of anything, that involves paper, I guess. We kind of go through. Does that answer your question about paperwork?
Yeah. What happens with all that paperwork once you've done that?
Yeah, so all the information is scanned into our systems and inputted onto our HR systems, nice and securely. Bank information, proof of ID, we scan it in, put it in their folders online, and then we then obviously give them their ID back, but then we shred everything, so there's no kind of everything's secure and locked. So we everything's logged securely, basically. Next we cover company systems, so we go through our HR system, we go through the intranet, talk about payroll dates, holiday and absence reporting. We talk about our coach, the progression plan. I chat briefly about their setting their OKRs, their objectives and key results, but that would then be your guys' responsibility to go through them with them in more depth, kind of within their first month, I would say. Then I chat about a bit about the company culture. What do you think? Why do you think it's important to cover company culture? So such things like company events, so Christmas, summer, monthly all hands meetings, corporate social responsibility initiatives, wellbeing initiatives, social groups in the company. Why would you think that that's important to know on day one?
Something to look forward to.
Yeah.
So they know they're part of a company that's investing in
exactly
people
exactly
and social events.
Absolutely, and it kind of gives them a chance to think about if there's any initiatives that they want to get involved in. If there's any social groups upstairs that people might not say, oh, do you want to join our running club at lunchtime? But if we tell them that it's a thing, they then might think, oh, I would like to do that, and then they can find out more information if they want to. We also go through the office information, such as kind of the opening times of the site, and we're on a big site, what time do the gates open and close, how not to get locked in, where to park, the kitchen, we talk about the gym, the swipe on, the signing in facility, kind of everything that you would kind of want to know on day one as a new starter. We kind of go through that. Lastly, for HR, someone asked briefly a second ago, we go through health and safety by law. They need to know about health and safety on their first day, where the fire exits are, where the meeting points are, who the first aiders are, where the first aid kit is, how to report an accident, smoking policy. We talk about mental health first aiders. We have a mental health first aid team here, which I think is quite an important thing that we discuss kind of on day one, so that they know that there is a support system if they need it. And again, we cover kind of the site information, and kind of if you're going to kind of walk around, you have to wear high vis and stuff because there are lorries, etc. At that point, that's kind of the HR knowledge imparted their wisdom. We've done our job, and then we then kind of bring them up and hand them over to you guys as line managers. The first thing that you need to do really is give them an office tour. Why do you think it's important to give an office tour as soon as possible?
So that people know who they are.
Yeah, introductions. Otherwise you kind of get new people just like, oh, who is that person?
Toilets.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Kitchen
Facilities,
fridges,
absolutely,
tea,
yes.
coffee.
Where the printer is, where the stationery is, the gym, what's around, where the nice walks are, kind of off the site. There are nice river walks around here. It's quite nice for them to know where that are and it is on day one. So that's kind of your office tour, and then it's then your chance to then sit down with them and discuss their day-to-day role. So going through their job description and kind of looking through each point to make sure that they understand what is expected of them, make sure that they know their role within the department, and then also then the department as a wider where they sit in the wider business. I know that Laura, you asked that earlier. So this is the point where you go into more detail about that. Introduce them to their buddies, introduce them to each member of the team, go through their 4-week plan with them so they know exactly what they're doing for the first month. Take them out for lunch. This is your chance to then take them out for lunch at this point. And then they'll have their IT induction with our IT guys, so make sure that they can log into all the systems, their emails up to date, they're on our CRM system, they know who to call if needed. HR, so then myself, I'll then check in with them kind of at the end of the day, just a quick kind of 5 minutes, how was your day, any questions? But the rest of the week is kind of, the rest of the induction process really is kind of then up to you. We'll check in every now and then to make sure that everything's okay, but otherwise that's kind of up to you, really. Okay. So that was quite a lot of information just kind of thrown at you in quite a short space of time. But I've just got a few questions now to check the learning. You've got your buzzers, so we're going to do fastest finger first. Can you give me one reason why it's important to deliver a good induction to a new starter? Go on.
You don't even know the answer, you just wanted to push your buzzer.
What the settle in?
Absolutely. See?
Can I press my buzzer?
True or false? A driving licence can be used for proof of work. Laura!
False!
What are the proof of right to work IDs?
Passport, birth certificate, visa.
Excellent. True or false? As soon as the HR induction is finished, we have nothing more to do with them. Laura?
False.
Go on, why?
Because you would continue to check in with them, make sure that they're feeling welcome, and do regular HR things.
Excellent. HR things, I love it. Last one, true or false? Induction process starts and finishes on day one of their new role. Laura!
False!
Why?
Because it's forever. It could be 3 months, 6 months.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Okay, so we've
the
now
buzzer
reached.
finish?
That is the buzzer finish. I mean, you can press it if
okay.
you want to for fun. But just to kind of so that's our kind of session over. But in summary, to kind of circle back to the objectives we set at the beginning of the session, I think we identified what induction is and why it's important. We discussed what makes a good and bad induction and kind of the feelings around it. We recognise the information that the HR provides and the health and safety points, and then we defined kind of what's expected from you guys as people managers. We get a big tick from that. So now go back to a knowledge check. How confident now do you feel about inducting an employee into the business? If we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
I'm definitely in the green zone.
Yes.
I'd say
I'm
4
feeling
or
green
5.
zone.
Feeling green is absolutely where we need to be right
I've made
now.
loads of notes.
Yay!
And some good things I hadn't thought of.
Excellent.
The people that have started recently as well.
Great. So that
it's
kind of this. What will you be taking away from this session?
what did I put down here? This might sound wrong order, but onboarding lunch.
Yes. Yeah. Very important. It's really important.
The coach and the OKRs, getting
Yes.
those set sort of nice and
Yeah.
early on in the process.
Yeah.
The walks.
Yeah.
And the more perhaps doing the one-to-ones walking just to show them around
Yeah.
what's in the area, and that
Yeah.
would just make it a bit more informal.
Absolutely.
So mine were all quite fluffy things.
No, that's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good, Fluffy. The fluffier the better, actually.
I think I perhaps had a misperception of what I needed to do and what HR needed to do.
Yeah.
So I think I'm much clearer now on what I'll be doing with a new hire as they join. So yeah, just taking more responsibility probably for their first day and their experience.
Excellent. So I think what would be quite important is if you guys join. So when we kind of in the next couple of weeks, when we have a new hire, is for you guys to attend the HR session that we do. So you can actually see what paperwork is it, what it is, and kind of how much detail we go into, and the questions that they ask a HR department that they might not ask you guys. I think it's important for you guys to kind of be witness to that. It's kind of in a couple of hours out of the day, but obviously we'll schedule it in. And also then just to kind of, from your eyes, it'd be good to know if we've missed anything. So kind of we can all collaborate together and align, kind of so everyone's on the same page. And if you've got any questions at all, please let me know, or any suggestions or anything like that, please let me know. And also then similarly, I'll kind of be hovering around your guys' kind of induction as well, just to make sure that you kind of have got everything is covered as well. Any questions at all before we wrap up?
It'd be really interesting to know, and you probably won't be able to answer this today, what are, like from our turnover, employee turnover, how many of those say left in the first 12 months of being here?
That would be, yes, that's definitely something that we can pull together.
That data,
Yes, that would be good.
especially in service. I'm just thinking, actually, we've probably had quite a lot of people that have left in the first 12 months.
And is this a reason why? So exit interviews will definitely be able to pick that up. Maybe we need to add a question into our exit interview about their onboarding process as well as their offboarding. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so on your note here, I've got a couple of feedback forms, which would be great if you could fill in your own time. That'd be great.
Thank you.
Just kind of on this session today and how useful you have found it.
How about us to do this now, or can we take it away?
You take it away, that's fine. Yeah. If there are no other questions, then thank you for your time.
Thank you.
And you can now have the rest of your day.
Thank you very much. It's really useful.
Thank